Welcome to the 8th grade Math Homework Helper Series. Tonight's homework is SE9, Solving Systems of Equations to Solve Word Problems, Day 2. We'll start by going over the steps that you need to follow to solve these equations. First, you're going to write let statements using two different variables. Second, translate words and numbers in the word problem to create equations and then solve them. Step number 3, check your answer back in the word problem. And step number 4, write a sentence to answer the question. Let's start by taking a look at question number 4. At a quick lunch counter, 3 pretzels and 1 soda cost $7.75. 2 pretzels and 3 sodas cost $11. Find the cost of a pretzel and the cost of a soda. So we'll start by creating our let statements. We'll let P equal the cost of a pretzel. We'll let S equal the cost of a soda. The first equation I'm going to create is based on the initial information given in the word problem. 3p plus s equals 7.75. If we take a look back at the word problem, I took 3p because there were 3 pretzels. I took 1s because there is only 1 soda, and I had them equal 7.75 because that was the cost. For the next equation, I have 2p plus 3s equals 11. Well, the second piece of information given was that 2 pretzels and 3 sodas cost $11. So after I created those two equations, I now need to think about which variable do I want to get lined up so that I can eliminate it. And I've chosen to eliminate s. So in order to do that, I'm going to take the 3p plus s equals 7.75, and in order to get a negative 3 on the s, I need to multiply the entire equation by negative 3. So I'll distribute negative 3 throughout the whole equation, and that's going to give me negative 9 minus 3s equals negative 23.25. I pull the other equation underneath without changing anything on it and add the two equations. The negative 9 plus 2 gives me negative 7p. Negative 3s, positive 3s cancel out. And negative 23.25 and 11 is going to give me negative 12.25. I divide by negative 7 on both sides, and that frees up the p, and it says it equals 1.75. So I now know the cost of a pretzel is $1.75. I can use that information and plug it back into an equation. I'm choosing 2p plus 3s equals 11. You could choose the other one as well. And I'm plugging 1.75 in for the variable p. If I multiply 2 times 1.75, I get 3.5 plus the 3s equals 11. I subtract 3.5 from both sides, and that gives me 3s equals 7.5. I divide by 3 on both sides. That gives me s equals 2.50. So now I know that a soda costs $2.50. Now I want to check that. So I'm going to put these back, and I'm going to take a look at step number 3, which is checking it in the problem. So at first it said 3 pretzels and 1 soda cost $7.75. So based on my data that I got, that said that 1 pretzel cost $1.75 times 3 plus a $2.50 soda should equal $7.75. I also know that at $1.75, 2 pretzels and 3 sodas at $2.50 should cost $11. So let's check the first. I have 1.75 times 3 plus 250 equals 775. Well, 1.75 times 3 equals 5.25 plus the 250 equals 775. And 775 does equal 775, so that check works out. I can then check the second piece, which is $1.75 times 2 plus $2.50 times 3. Well, 1.75 times 2 equals 350. 2.50 times 3 equals 7.50. Adding those two together, I do get 11 equals 11. That check also works. So I now need to go back in and write a sentence that explains the cost of a pretzel and the cost of a soda. The cost of a pretzel is $1.75, and the cost of a soda is $2.50. And let's take a look at another question. Question number 8. It says the sum of two numbers is 900. When 4% of the larger is added to 7% of the smaller, the sum is 48. Find the numbers. So, for let statements, I'm going to say let x equal the larger number and let y equal the smaller number. Then I'm going to set up two equations. So I have x plus y equals 900, and I have 0.04, which is the 4% of x, plus 0.07, the 7% of y, is going to equal 48. But what I can do with x plus y equals 900 is I can set it up so that y is equal to a value that I can then plug into the other equation. So if I subtract negative x from both sides, I get y equals negative x plus 900. I can then take that negative x plus 900 and plug it in for y, which I'm going to do right over here. So I have 0.04x plus 0.07, and then the value for y, negative x plus 900, equals 48. So the 0.04x, and then I distribute 0.07 to everything inside the parentheses. I have negative 0.07x plus 63 equals 48. I can combine like terms. I have 0.04x minus 0.07x, which gives me negative 0.03x plus 63 equals 48 comes down. I can subtract 63 from both sides, which leaves me with negative 0.03x equals negative 15. I divide by negative 0.03 on both sides, and I do realize this gets a little messy with the negatives and the decimals, but it's okay to use a calculator. When you divide negative 15 by negative 0.03, you wind up with x equaling 500. So I know that the larger number is 500. Now I can use that information to help me find out what the smaller number is. So if I plug x back into the equation, so 500 plus y equals 900. I subtract 500 from both sides, y equals 400. So I know that x is 500, y is 400. And I can use that information to check my work. So as I come over here, I have solved x as 500, y as 400. I know that x plus y has to equal 900. So if I plug in x for 5 and y for 4, 500 plus 400 equals 900. 900 equals 900, so the check works. I then can come back to the percents and see if it works out to be 48. So I have 500 times 0.04 plus 400 times 0.07 equals 48. Well, 500 times 0.04 is actually 20, and 400 times 0.07 is actually 28. So does 20 plus 28 equal 48? Yes, it does. So that also checks out. That leads me to coming up with a sentence to answer the question. Find the numbers. So the larger number is 500, the smaller number is 400. Kind of a messy problem in the middle, but it works out nicely. Please use these problems to solve the additional questions that you have for homework tonight. Remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.